Hello my fellow gamers and welcome to Philosoph's gaming channel. Today I have a blast from the past for you, Shogun 2 Total War multiplayer. It's been exactly 3 years and 11 months since the last time I made a video about this game. For me personally, the Shogun 2 Total War had the best multiplayer experience of all the Total War games. It was only after playing some of the recent RTS games like the Battlefield Gothic Armada that I realized that I still wanted to play this game. Considering the fact that this game came out back in 2011 and after installing it today in 2016 I could find the game right off the bat, you can imagine just how good this multiplayer really is. Now, I do realize that a lot of my subscribers are here because of city building content from games like SimCity 2013, City Skylines, even Banished. But I do feel like going back to my RTS roots, and the Shogun 2 was the original game that I started my channel with. And now with the game called Battlefield Gothic Armada coming in, I kinda feel like going back to my roots. Now, I would like to ask you to stay on my channel, even though you might like city building content more, because you might actually start liking the RTS games as well. There are two ways I can show you Shogun 2 Total War. Like this, capturing my own gameplay, or capturing the replay later on. The problem is, in the replay, you cannot see my actions as clearly as capturing the gameplay live. But on the other hand, in the replay, you can see close-up shots, while I'm playing from the bird's eye view, you can't see the game so close up, but like I said, you can see me commanding the troops. Now this also isn't absolutely live because I'm putting in my commentary on top of the gameplay and not giving you the commentary during the gameplay because of the simple fact that I wouldn't be able to concentrate on playing the game while trying to explain to you what I'm doing. Alright, so what am I doing? I'm currently in the deployment stage. This is where you set up your army, choose which formation you're going to use, choose which units you're going to go. And currently you saw me placing my Naginata samurai. These are the heavily armored samurai with a spear that's called a Naginata in front. Behind them and to the flanks I'm placing my sword infantry with a Banzai ability. The Banzai means that they are unbreakable. Their morale will not fail you while they are under that ability. They are great for charging enemy units. At this point I had a little problem with my right mouse click and I asked my opponent to give me a few extra seconds so I could fix the problem. And he was nice enough to oblige. So a very nice player. In the continuation of my deployment, I decided to put my cavalry behind my main force, placing the fire cavalry in the middle. It is one of the DLC cavalry that is very strong against other enemy cavalry. Then I had a Yari cavalry. That one is also an anti-cavalry unit because of the spears they carry. And then there is the katana cavalry. That's a cavalry that actually uses swords and not spears like the previous two. So they are best for charging enemy units that do not have either spears or are not actually cavalry. You're not very it is not very advisable to use that type of cavalry against enemy cavalry, but rather use it against infantry, and of course infantry that isn't spear infantry. In the front you saw me placing two units of archers. Now one of them is a monk archer unit and the other one is a samurai. The difference is in range and the number of soldiers per unit. The monks have a higher range, can be upgraded for very high speed and the rate of fire, while the samurai have higher armor and a few more men. They also have a whistling arrow ability that I've used and upgraded the unit with that allows me to send whistling arrows over the enemy, which then reduce their reload speed for their matchlocks or their archers. Matchlocks are firearms in this age. Now you saw me placing my infantry into group 1, then the group 3 are my archers and the group 4 is my cavalry. I tried placing the general and the light cav in a single group, but there seems to be a problem. I used to remember being able to place a single unit into a single group, but for some reason that did not work at the moment. I will probably have to find how is it done now. Now I said to my enemy that I was ready and we could start the game. In the first moments before I started deploying my units, I looked at which key buildings are on the map. Key buildings were introduced later on to stop people from camping on the edges of the map. In this map, I have the archer dojo, the workshop in the middle, and the farmhouse on the opposite side on the left. Now the reason why I went for the workshop is because that building gives the bonus for armor and defense, while the enemy is going for the archery dojo because that one gives you a way to refill your ammunition and increases the rate of reload for your long-range units, matchlocks and archers, and in his case he had matchlocks. Now matchlocks are very good against infantry because they kill them regardless of their armor, while the archers sometimes cannot kill a unit if the armor is high enough. Now I do have naginatas, but like I said, even though they are highly armored against matchlocks, they are not going to help that much. So what I have to do is use my longer range with the bows. Bows have far longer range than matchlocks, and then kill his matchlocks at that range, and then after charging with my infantry. Now you can see I used my light cab to capture this building, but he's using his Naginata tendons to try and get it away from me. Now I'm sending one of my cavalry units over to the right because I want so that he doesn't have a lot of cavalry. Now some could be hidden, you can hide units in forests from the enemy, but since I do have a lot of Naginatas in front, which are good against cavalry, they have a bonus against cavalry, I kinda weren't afraid of his cavalry coming out all of a sudden, so I sent my cavalry on the right and on the left. Now, because those are sword attendants, those are also DLC units, they are very few per unit, very cheap therefore, but you can easily destroy them with a cavalry charge. Now you saw me pulling back my entire force because of them getting into range with his matchlocks. I want to use the superior range of bows and not get killed by the matchlocks. You see him firing on my cavalry that took over the building. I'm now putting them back on their horses because you can only take a building with cavalry if they dismount from their horses. You can remove an enemy's capture point, the key buildings, his ownership of a building with cavalry, but you cannot take over it with cavalry if they are not dismounted. Here you saw me charging his weak infantry with my cavalry, and they instantly started to rout because they have low morale and low unit count per unit, and low soldier count per unit. You see, he is now trying to come in closer with his matchlocks to get into range, which means I'm pulling back once more. Now you could say it's a cavalry attack to run, but when you're faced with matchlocks, you need to run and try to kill them with your archers. Here I pull off my cavalry to the back so I can hit his infantry from multiple directions. If you hit infantry from multiple directions with your cavalry, they are going to get a negative value on their morale. If they go low enough in that value, they will rout. Routing is usually shown you by a white flag over a unit. That means that they are breaking and close to routing. If they rout, they totally lose the flag. If you lose a flag over a unit, that unit is no longer usable on the battlefield. They will just run to the edge of the map and you lost that unit forever. If they are white like that, you can use a rally ability from your general to bring them back, because the rally ability increases the unit's morale. Now I'm trading shots with him. He's trying to get close enough for his matchlocks to be in range, and I am trying to pull him towards the river. I'm doing this for the reason, if he goes into the river, then charging downhill from the river will give me a speed boost, as the terrain is can be very efficiently used in this game. Now I realized that my cavalry is totally behind him and exposed, but as you can see, he doesn't seem to have any cavalry. Now I'm using the rest of my cavalry on the other flank as well to go behind him. I'm doing this because if you have noticed, the enemy has flags above units which are behind matchlocks. Matchlocks are displayed by flags like guns, but behind them there are spear units. Those are cheap units that are not very good in morale nor speed, which means that if I can make him pull his units, his spear units, to attack my cavalry, then I can go forward with the rest of my soldiers, and even his matchlocks might shoot my units a few times. I will still be able to close in before they can do too much damage. This is the reason why I like sending my cavalry behind my enemy, then forcing him to try and defend his back while I advance on the front, while he's too busy microing his defenders. And you can never ever catch cavalry with just foot infantry carrying spears if your enemy is well known to micro his cavalry, which is something that I love to do, and destroy an enemy's formation by making him constantly move his units. You can see that he's trying to get closer again with his matchlocks, and he's getting exposed from my archers, but I do not like it being so close, so I move back once more. This is about the 5th time I'm moving back, but it is necessary to keep his matchlocks at far range from my units. Now I'm going to charge at his cavalry unit, which are mounted gunners. This is a unit that actually carries guns on horseback and can shoot you and reload while moving. This is why I needed to get rid of this unit, and I sacrificed the katana cav because of the reason that there are very few units left in his army that I can safely charge with the katana cavalry. Now the reason why I charged his gunners with my cavalry, even though I told you that katana cavalry is not used for charging cavalry, is because they have very low attack value, as they use guns and do not have swords to actually fight you. Now I did lose that unit because they routed very fast, and now I almost got caught by his infantry if I didn't micro. Like I said, if you do not micro your cavalry, they can be caught by foot infantry, but if you micro them, that's never gonna happen. Now I decided to move my entire force, the one that's on the right side of the river, into the forest, because a unit standing in a forest is hidden, and unless you come close enough, you cannot spot it, so his matchlocks cannot shoot at hidden units inside the forest. That was the reason why I did that, and to be able to stop moving all the time away from the range. Now you see here, I managed to micro my cavalry enough to get a few good charges on his gunners, which are now running away again, and check out what happens now. You see all those infantry units that are so far away from his main force? That was the whole point of microing my cavalry behind him. Now I can use my light cavalry to charge his gunners once again, and while 3 units are all the way out there, you can see that I'm ready to move forward with my infantry. His lines are totally destabilized. You can see that there are a few units all the way up there. There's a whole bunch of units in the middle, and what you need to exploit when an enemy punches his units like that is to hit him in the middle, force him to pull even more units into the middle, and then envelop him by attacking him from the front with elongated units. That way you can hit him in the middle with only 1 or 2 units, while the rest of your units can go on the wings, on the sides, and envelop his units. Like I told you in the start, when I was chasing my cavalry down, with my cavalry down his attendants, if you attack from several sides an enemy unit, they will lose morale far more quickly. And in this game, it's actually easier to break your enemy and break his morale than actually kill all of his units. I now chose to target his general with my bows in order to reduce the amount of men he has per his general bodyguard, because once you deplete his bodyguard, his general is more easily killed. Up there you saw me attacking his matchlocks with my cavalry and then running away, and now I am full on charging. As you can see, he is bunching up his infantry. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units with his general, and now a 6th unit coming in on the wing, which he did spread out, which is good. And there is another which is trying to do the same to me that I'm trying to do to him, envelop him. But since those are Naginata monks, they have low armor, I'm choosing now to target them with my archers. Now you can see in the middle a lot of his units are starting to waver. That is when the banner above a unit turns white from time to time. That means that they are close to routing. I'm going to use the Warcry ability on my monks, my Testibo monks, and that will add another debuff to his morale. Like I said, it's easier to actually debuff the enemy's morale and destroy him that way than to actually kill him. You see up there, there's a unit chasing after my cavalry. Now soon I will have to pick one of my units to go there and deal with it, while my units are taking care of his wings, making sure that he can go around me. And the center is holding. You can notice how much morale my units have compared to his. The morale is the little green area above the banner, that if it's green, it shows you almost full morale. If it's yellow, you're in the middle. If it's red, your unit is close to running away. You can see that there is a lot of adjustment happening during the endings of the battle. This is because units fighting each other end up chasing the unit that is actually broken, and instead of fighting another unit that they might attack, which is at full or half morale, and that is why you have to keep track. You saw up there one of my units finished up attacking a previous unit and then just stood there. That's the problem. You don't have an auto attack on units. You have to give specific attack or move orders to each and every unit, which is quite micro intensive at high unit values. You can see now that this battle is practically won. His middle unit is now a general and a single unit, and there isn't much there left of his units. This just goes to show you how powerful it is to try and outmaneuver the enemy, place him in a formation that is beneficial for your army to attack, and now there is only enough time to say GG before all of his units are routed. Now I know that I wasn't able to cover everything while explaining you the battle and the units, because this is very fast. This is the type of game I enjoy, and I will hope to show you more in the future. If you're interested, you can show me by liking the video, commenting, and telling me what more would you like to see or hear about this game. I could even show you the replay of this battle and talk about the different units and how they affect each other, while I can pause, because in the replay I can pause the gameplay, even slow it down, so I can more easily explain to you what is going on. Thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned with my channel for more.